Hello, how are you? This is Yamiel with Divorce in Florida Online. And I wanted to share this video because I do get a lot of phone calls and a lot of um, from different states, not just Florida, which is the state that we work with. But in general, there are some things that you can do to save money as long as these things are available in your county, your state, your country. So, with the number one advice that I have for anyone that wants to save money, and by the way, I'm not an attorney, I'm a document preparer. I do not provide legal advice. For legal advice, please contact an attorney in your state, country, county, etc. All right. So the first thing that you want to understand is that there are different options as to how the process can proceed. So usually, at least in the United States, if the divorce is in mutual agreement, meaning both parties are capable, able to sit down and either negotiate or just split up everything, or if there's children, they can come up with a parenting plan, visitation schedule. They're willing to share their financial assets and liabilities. Liabilities meaning credit card debt and vehicle debt and that sort of thing. As long as both parties are in a good place emotionally. Divorce is always hard and difficult, but but if they're like in a detached from the drama and able to that's my dog and able to proceed amicably, usually that is the most affordable way of going about filing for divorce, even if you do decide to hire an attorney. So that's always, the usually that costs less money. It's more predictable, the money that you're going to spend, and it's usually also faster because there's less steps that have to be taken. You don't have to get the other person served with a sheriff all the time, but so there's different ways of getting divorced. As an example, again, this applies for Florida. The best optional way would be mutual agreement. The next option is the divorce by summons, which is when the other party gets served with a sheriff. Now, of course, if there has been domestic violence, emotional um, abuse, any kind of abusive situation, don't even try to do it in mutual agreement. And I tell you this from the bottom of my heart, not because it's a legal advice in any way, but it just makes sense. It's common sense. You don't want to try to sit down and negotiate with someone or try to convince them to sign. You can't convince people to do what they don't want to do. And if you're in an abusive situation, abusive relationship, part of the dynamic is the power. And the moment that they let you go, they're letting go. They let you go with the divorce. They're letting go of holding control over you, holding power over you. So there's definitely something that you want to take into consideration. If there's been a power struggle in your relationship, remove yourself from that toxic situation and just let the court deal with him. You get him served, the sheriff will get him served. You don't need to talk to him about the divorce. Tell him whatever you need to say, just say it on paper, submit it to the court. We'll deal that way, and that way we'll keep everybody safe and everybody removed. And there'll be a mediator most likely appointed in Florida again. And then you guys, the mediator will try to get you guys on the same page so that the divorce can go to the judge for signature. So that's number one. Number one is the process. If you don't know where the other person is, then it's a lengthy process. It takes longer. At least in Florida, you have to search for the other person, and the proof that the person could not be found has to be submitted to the court in most jurisdictions. With that, there's also a notice of publication, which is basically a little article that goes in the newspaper, needs to run for 30 days saying, hey, so and so is just filed for divorce against so and so. You have X amount of time to notify the court in writing. Here's the address. And so the other party is supposed to see that and go to the court and find out more information. I'll be honest with you, most people never find out when a divorce like that is executed. The publication, nobody's reading newspapers nowadays, but it's one of the requirements that they have. So that's number one. So you need to look at all the processes, available to you, and always try to do a mutual agreement if it's possible, if it's healthy. And if not, then you have the other options with the sheriff or by publication if the other person's whereabouts are unknown, they're out of the country, etc. All right. So the second thing that you want to look at is, you know, in some jurisdictions, some states, you can file, I believe, and maybe all of them, I don't have knowledge nationwide, or any other country, but there's a possibility that you may be able to file without an attorney. You don't have, things to fight for, like there's no 401k and there's no, big business, big house, use your common discernment, use your discernment. If you have financial things that you're definitely going to lose, you are at risk, then definitely, by all means, of course, you need to, find an attorney that you can work with. But if you don't, a lot of our clients don't have, they live in an apartment that's rented. They don't even, the car, each of them have a car, and, like, um, then you may want to consider doing the pro se way. If you cannot find an attorney you can afford, contact the bar association. Sometimes they have organizations that are nonprofit that you may be able to hire an attorney, either at very little upfront or with payments, or sometimes even free. Pro bono is rare nowadays. Pro bono, it would take longer usually because you're not going to be a priority. Just keep that in mind, and it's going to take you a while to find one. But there are different options when it comes to that. But so you have most courthouses, you can walk in, and they have a desk where they sell the forms. Uh, some courthouses, they will sell you a pack this big with everything you could potentially need. And even though your divorce may be by summons, they will still give you everything for him as well, or for her. So keep that in mind. At some courthouses, you get a huge packet and you just fill out everything. When you bring it back, they'll be like, nope, you don't need this, you don't need this, you don't need this, you need this. And you're going to end up needing this much, but you filled out that much. But that's what happens. Another option, of course, is hiring someone like us, a document preparer, but this is something that it's not always available in different states. Like in Florida, there is, an industry for document preparers. However, this industry is not accepted uh, nationwide. We don't even really have, like, we cannot call, the only thing we cannot call ourselves paralegal. We cannot give legal advice. We cannot even tell you how to fill out a form. We just take your information and help you fill it out, and but you're the one that's supposed to provide the information. So there's certain rules about, at least in the state of Florida, about non-attorney, not basically not behaving like an attorney, but behaving more like a secretary. And that's really, I call myself a glorified secretary. I mean, that's really my title. I'm your people's secretary during the divorce process. And finally, and this is something that uh, I think just about every state should have something like this. In Florida, it's called application for indigent status, and that's it's based on the poverty line table, which is it's available on our website, but it's also, I mean, available. You just put that poverty table for your state, and then based on the amount of people in the household, depending what the poverty level would be considered, and then based on that, we can apply for the court filing fee waiver. And that's the application of indigent status in the state of Florida. Other states may have different names, but through that, our clients can have the court filing fee waived, and therefore they can save a good $400. And if they by summons and the other party lives in the state of Florida, then the sheriff fee is also waived. If it's by publication, then the publication fee is also waived. So it's a big savings. And a lot of people don't know. It's a one document. It does have to be filled out completely with no empty spaces, no in basically you have to not only by income, amount of people, but also your vehicle cannot be worth more than $5,000, and you cannot be having all these assets and stuff. So those are also considerations to pay attention to. But it's a one page piece of paper that can save you a lot of money. So so there you go. So in summary process, you should, hopefully try to do it in mutual agreement, so you don't, even if you're hiring an attorney, that way you save money. And then another thing is to look at other options available in your state or country. Pro se means without legal representation. If it's something that you just cannot afford an attorney, you cannot afford any help, then figure out how to do it by yourself. And you always start by going to the courthouse, your local courthouse. And number three, look at options to see if they have a court filing fee waiver for low income people if you qualify. All right. So hope that this helps. Comment down below where you're watching us from. And if this you find this information helpful, please like the video and subscribe if you like more details, more information. All right. Take care and have a great day.